Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. I'm Stuart Hillard. Now in today's video I want to show you a brand new project, and it's one that you can download the pattern for. If you just follow the link at the bottom of the video through to the Crafts channel, you can then download the pattern for the Roche Cowl, which is a project that I've designed using Noro Ito yarn. Let me show you the cowl first of all. It's this beautiful, snuggly, knitted in the round cowl. It's very simple, it's very easy to knit, and it's a nice fast knit too. Lovely and snuggly for autumn and winter. It's made using Noro Ito yarn, which is an Aran weight yarn, and it's multi-tonal. It's such a beautiful, beautiful yarn. Lots and lots of different colours blended in, so you get a really exquisite result without really having to do any extra work at all, just knit and purl. I love a yarn that gives so much value like that. Noro Ito yarn is distributed by Knitting Fever. If you head to the Knitting Fever website, you can find a stockist for Noro Ito near you. Comes in all sorts of different shades too. I've used this one, which has all these gorgeous lavenders and greens and creams. Really soft and snuggly. It features a stitch called moss stitch, and it's sometimes called seed stitch. It's a really popular fabric, knitted fabric for garments. It's also featured on this sweater right here, just underneath the yoke. What's great about moss stitch is it creates a very firm fabric. There isn't really any particular stretch in it. It hasn't pulled the fabric in at all. So it can easily be substituted in a garment that has just plain stocking stitch, or you can add a band in quite easily and it won't distort the garment. Really easy to knit. I'm going to show you how to do moss stitch or seed stitch in this video. But don't forget, if you want the pattern for my Roche cowl, you can find the link in the description box below and download your copy. Now, the cowl is actually knitted in the round, but I'm going to show you knitted flat how to do moss stitch, and I'm using a different colourway of the Noro Ito yarn here. And you can see that the moss stitch, I always think it looks a little bit like cross stitch, because you've got these little knit stitch interspersed with pearls. So it creates a really lovely kind of bumpy texture, really suits the tweedy effect of the yarn too. Now, I've got my stitches cast on. Now, it's as simple as, if you look at the last stitch or the first stitch that you're ready to knit, it's a knit stitch. So we're always going to be doing the opposite of whatever is there. So it's a knit stitch right there. So we're going to start with a purl on this row. So we're going to purl, and then the next stitch is a purl. So we're going to knit into that. And our seed stitch is as simple as that. We're going to knit into the purl stitches and purl into the knit stitches. Now, with any knitting where you're constantly changing between knit and purl, I would urge you to develop your knitting so that you can keep a hold of the needles. When I was younger, I always knitted I was a right-handed thrower, so I would let go of the needles every time. So I would take a knit stitch like this and have to let go of my yarn and bring it round and push it in, and that's very, very time consuming when you're working single rib or moss stitch. So try and keep a hold of your needles all the time, and then we're just knitting into the purl stitches and purling into the knit stitches. And just keep working across the row. And that's all it takes to create that wonderful seed stitch texture. And look how beautiful those colour changes look. and that's all created from the Noro Ito yarn and a seed stitch. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration on how to knit moss stitch or seed stitch. If you enjoy the videos from the Crafts channel, don't forget you can subscribe to the channel, and if you click the bell button you'll get a notification every time there's a new video put up. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time.